Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tom LaHue. We're going to be talking about your life and how maybe you're not falling behind as bad as you think you are. If you're anything like me, then maybe you need to hear this message today because it's easy to start comparing yourself with other people and think, what's wrong with me? How come I'm not getting the results that I'd like to get? Well, I just want to encourage you that maybe you're not as behind as you think you are. In a world that's constantly telling you, move faster, be more productive, get those results, you might start to think, I should be further along than I am right now. How come people don't realize how amazing I am? How come I'm not getting all of the results that I would like to get? And that can be very discouraging. You can feel like you're failing. You can feel frustrated with life. And I want to just challenge you that maybe you're not running behind as badly as you think you are. Maybe you are right on time. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the fact that sometimes it can feel like you're falling behind. When you're not getting the results at work, you're not getting the results in your marriage, you're working on your marriage, you're reading all the books, you're like, Tom, I'm reading everything I'm supposed to read. I'm implementing strategies. And I just don't see the results at home. I don't see the results in my work environment, and I'm starting to get frustrated. I'm starting to get discouraged, and I feel like I'm falling behind. Well, maybe you are a little bit. Maybe you are falling behind, but that's not necessarily always a bad thing because sometimes in these seasons where we don't get all of the results we would like to get, we're forced to grow in ways we wouldn't choose to grow otherwise. We're forced to demonstrate patience. We're forced to demonstrate a sense of perseverance and resilience that wouldn't be required if everything was working out the way we would want them to. And so, trusting that life is working out even when it feels like it's falling apart. Believing, first of all, that there's a higher power at work here than maybe just ourselves, and that maybe there's a plan that's unfolding and we're not exactly where we would want to be in that plan, but every great epic story, there's always some time of tragedy where the hero is being tested. And sometimes the hero has to go out into the wilderness for 40 years or out into the desert for a while. That's pretty common in those epic stories. And maybe it feels like you're in that wilderness right now. Like, everything is moving on without you. Everybody's forgotten you, and you're stuck sitting on a bench waiting for the next call to get into the game. Part of what's going on, I think, when we start to feel like failures and we start to feel like we're frustrated is maybe we're doing a little bit too much comparing of our situation with everybody else's. Typically what happens when you compare yourself is one of two dangers. Either you start to become prideful and arrogant, thinking, wow, I'm really doing great. What's wrong with everybody else? And nobody wants to be around that. That's not good for you. Or you start to go down the other road, which is, man, I really suck. Nobody really cares about me. What's wrong with me? How come I can't? It just doesn't work for me. And then you start to get kind of mopey and weepy and sad, and that also is not going to help you move forward in life. And so comparing ourselves with others and their status and their achievement, we can learn from others. We could look at other people's progress and say, wow, there's lessons for me to learn there. But I got to be careful about comparing their results and their success with my own. It's going to lead me down one of two dangerous paths. So when you look around at other people's lives, you could start to think, maybe everything's just not going to work for me, or maybe I'm late. They're already getting married. They're already buying a house. They're already having a family. They're already finishing college. And then you look at your own life and you're like, I don't like this. And a little bit of that frustration might be good to help spur you into action, but spurring you into action is not the same thing as being frustrated and angry that other people have what you don't have. That envy can really start to chew you up and eat you up inside, and then make you despise the very people in life that are around you that are available for you to love. So be careful about comparing yourself. Most of the pressure that you feel isn't even necessarily real. it's pressure that you put on yourself. I mean, it's real because you're putting it on yourself, but I don't know that all this pressure is coming from your boss or your spouse or your parents or whoever else is important to you in life. It's kind of created by comparing yourself with someone else's story, and it's helpful to remember that's their story. So we got to be careful about measuring ourselves against other people's ruler or other people's standard. And remember that you are an individual and your path is your path alone. So focus on running your race, not everybody else's. Another thing to consider is that sometimes when things aren't going so great right now, you're being prepared for the next level. Think of it like this, that before a tree really is growing a lot of branches and fruit, it's working on growing its roots. And before you build a skyscraper, you have to make sure that you build a strong foundation. Nothing is exciting about building a foundation. Nobody drives by and says, wow, look at that great foundation to that building. No, they don't really notice it until it starts to rise. As the building starts to rise, as the tree begins to provide shade, that's when people get excited, right? But nothing's exciting about the work you can't see, the work that's underground. So before there's a lot of growth above ground, there's often a lot of growth underground. And when it feels like everybody's forgotten you and you're falling behind and you're not getting the results that you want to get, it can be very lonely and frustrating. Believe me, I understand. And in those times, it's helpful maybe to consider that maybe there's some work going on here that I wouldn't choose to do, but needs to be done at a foundational level to prepare me for the next level. So, how is God preparing you right now? How are you being prepared right now for what might be coming in the future? Sometimes it feels like nothing's happening in your life. You're working hard, you're praying hard, you're showing up, but the visible results are just not there. It's tempting to believe that you're stuck and you're forgotten and nobody really cares. But keep in mind that maybe right now what's happening is you're building something that people can't see, the iceberg under the waterline, so to speak. And then the last thing is your pace might be exactly perfect for you. If you can speed up and you can do more, then absolutely. Maybe we need to be inspired to do our best. And if you've gotten discouraged, you may be hanging on and feeling like you're giving everything you can. But a lot of times your pace is exactly perfect. It's just maybe not as fast as the person next to you. You weren't created to live somebody else's story and you weren't designed to move at somebody else's pace. So let the rabbits be rabbits. And if you are a tortoise, then the tortoise actually ends up winning the race in this story because they persevere, they endure, and they don't give up. And they don't take for granted every win because wins are hard. If you're going to step out there in life and try to accomplish something, you're probably going to lose 100 times and win once. And that's just the sad reality. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's you lose 10 times. But you have to be more comfortable with not necessarily seeing the results you want to see. You got to be comfortable losing. And then when you win, you're like, wow, I made a sale. Wow, I actually accomplished this. It worked out. And then it's something to really celebrate. But a lot of us, if we don't win every time, we feel like I want to give up. And that's kind of the way toddlers approach life. So what if you're exactly where you need to be right now? Let's just end it with that thought. What if you are exactly where you need to be right now? Remember that song, God Bless the Broken Road That Led Me Straight to You? I mean, nobody would choose to go down a broken road. Nobody would choose to have disabilities and challenges. Nobody would choose to get fired or to get divorced. Nobody chooses these devastating places that we end up in life. And you got to decide, like, is this a cul-de-sac that I'm just spinning in circles in, or is maybe this a detour that's going to move me in a direction I wouldn't have chose otherwise? Your timing might not match your expectations, and your timing may not match everybody's expectations for you. But your job is not necessarily to hurry through life. Your job is to be faithful. through life. And how will you know if you're being faithful if you're not being tested? And sometimes these times that we're going through are really times of testing. So at the end of your life, you're not going to be judged by how fast you moved through everything, but by how faithful you were. Faithful in your relationships, faithful in your dedication, faithful in your discipline, and all these things that require perseverance, endurance, and resilience. So choose faithfulness over franticness. A lot of people are very frantic, shoving coffee down their throats so that they can keep up their busy pace, so that they feel important about their lives. And it's all just kind of like a big myth. Choose trust over comparison and choose patience over panic. So the slow seasons in life are important seasons as well. And I know it's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to get distracted. But we've got to resist that. We've got to decide that, okay, enough ruminating, enough wallowing, enough blaming, and I'm going to trust that tomorrow is another day, and I'm going to do what is necessary to be done right now in order to prepare for what's coming in the future. That shift in your mindset is what everything is about. Shaking off the false guilt, shaking off the forced deadlines, and deciding that I'm going to faithfully get up, brush my teeth, take a shower, show up fully, do the best work I can, and leave the results with God. All right, guys, we're in this together. It's not easy, but we're going to keep on pressing on in our little laboratory of self-help, our little laboratory of understanding, our little Enneagram laboratory. We're going to keep moving forward, encouraging each other. Be there for somebody else today. Reach out to them. You have no idea what they're going through. Be a positive force in the world, listening to other people, encouraging them. I'm here to help you any way I can. Reach out to me. I'd love to work with you. I'll see you next time. Be present to life.